Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the White Sand Self-Care Community. I am your host, Laura Cross, and I have a wonderful lady today with me that I wanted you to meet. I met her recently. We had a wonderful conversation. MarieHelene Roussel, she has been very passionate about helping people with their wellness as well as her own wellness and her in personal spiritual growth. You know, she started back when she was only 24 years old, because they diagnosed her with hepatitis, and of all things, they told her that there was nothing that they could do. And that's kind of what sparked her wellness journey. So MarieHelene, maybe you can share some of that with people, because that had to be, especially at 24 years old, I would think that had to be pretty devastating to hear.
Well, in retrospect, because possibly when I was 24, I was not very happy to have something that it lasted for about a year where I was not functioning well at all. But in retrospect, that was the biggest blessing that could have happened for me, because that really, really sparked me, as you well said, into this journey and took me to so many different places and modalities. And I had a very, very colorful and very enriching life. I mean, from different healing modalities to even at some point working with wild dolphins as a stress release. And as we all know, that stress has such an impact on health and wellness. And as I always say as a joke, I really had a captivated audience. You know, being on the boat for a week, nobody could jump out of the boat. And so we were doing education on nutrition and meditation and stress release, etc., etc. And, you know, when we were blessed by meeting some wild dolphins. So yes, I've had a wonderful, very colorful life, and health, wellness, personal development has always been and always will be my main passion in life.
Yeah, and obviously, I'm sure everybody can tell, I love it, but she was born and raised in France. She's traveled all over the world. And I absolutely love things. As you can see, of course, dolphins are part of my logo. I have always been fascinated by dolphins, and I did finally swim with them in Atlantis. But so I know you have traveled all over the world. Did you just learn and study different modalities as you're going around? I know you're now in Florida. So you're in Florida, but you've done a number of different modalities.
Yes, and the first main one was rebirthing. Like, excuse me, that's my assistant. My cat has to have her desk next to me, and anyway, she has to be here. So, and more recently, over the last 10, 11 years since I've been in the US, I got certified in functional nutrition and lifestyle, as well as bioenergetic and EFT, emotional freedom technique. And the functional nutrition and lifestyle is actually a really wonderful modality, as it really brings you to look at the person as the whole, and that's really the term holistic, what it means, and also to look back, to go upstream, to look at all the root causes of what created the illness, or what created the pain, or the emotional discomfort, let's say. So I would say that since I'm in the US, functional nutrition and lifestyle has been my favorite modality, and also it allowed me to be part of a school and meet the most extraordinary people who are now working with me with the technology that we will talk about a bit later on. So
okay, so do you do coaching with clients, or what is your main focus?
Well, I used to, but here's what happened. My husband is a bit older than me. He's nearly 84 now. And at the end of 2020, that famous year, he had been suffering for 2 years of fainting spells followed by severe cluster headaches.
Mm.
And the poor man didn't have any quality of life because he didn't dare to go anywhere. He had fallen unconscious a few times when he was on his own. And the headaches were really, really horrific. And we had tried everything. Like me being me, I'm not only his wife, but also his health practitioner. And we had tried everything from stem cell injection, PRP, exosome, neurofeedback, obviously all the different form of body work like chiropractic and massage and so on. A few things were giving him a little relief, but never long term. And it's only at the end in September 2020, when a dear friend of mine, bless her, I mean, she told me about this technology called LifeWave, and she told me of her story. She didn't really explain to me how it worked or anything like that. She just told me no possible side effects. It really addresses, it helps the body's ability to heal itself. And I thought, when I heard her story of being in excruciating pain with degenerative discs, I thought, what the heck? I mean, it can only help him. It cannot hurt him. And so we tried, and 3 days after he had started wearing the main patch, the X39, that activates the body of producing younger and healthier stem cells, he was starting to have one of his headaches. And I asked her, I said, okay, look, maybe we need to kind of do more. And she told me about 3 more patches. I, ordered them urgently. And that famous evening in September 2020, I applied these 3 more patches on him. And from his headache was at the time about a 7. And usually it will go up 10, 15, 20, out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And we sat there, and 20 minutes later, I had to ask him, how do you feel? And he looked at me, oh, wow, this is incredible. It's back to a 3. But at the same time, we didn't want to jinx it because, it's like it may be short term and then maybe tomorrow it will start again. That night he slept, and the next morning he didn't have a headache, and that's more than 2.5 years ago. So from that on, I was hooked, and I started digging into the science of it, digging into the community. Every night, I think for the first year, I listened to the inventor and CEO, who is also I call him a genius with a heart of gold, because this man is, he's so genuine at wanting to help people to feel better, be better. And also, when you go to a doctor over 50 and whatever you're telling them, and they're telling you it's normal, it's your age, this is not acceptable. I mean, absolutely not acceptable. It shouldn't be, aging shouldn't be losing your quality of life and just, like a number and length of time, but it should be also with the complete quality of life. And that's what this technology is bringing to millions of people around the world.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing what's out there. The more people I learn, and the more that I learn about all these different holistic things, because not everything works for everybody. We're all different. But when it doesn't have side effects, you don't have to sit there and list all this, like you said, why not? I think you and I are very similar that way because, my fiance struggles with type 2 diabetes. They put him on meds. It was ruining his kidneys. And then I found something I was actually able to help improve his kidneys and reverse that. So there's a ton of things out there. And like you say, it's treating the body as a whole, not doing the whole Band-Aid thing. So yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you, because I know that all of us, when we get passionate, when we have such results, and not only for my husband or myself, but to see also, like so many people sending us like, oh my goodness, I'm having this going on and it's amazing. It's a miracle. But at the same time, I'm totally aware that this is not the only thing. And thank goodness, because as you said, sometimes some things will work for someone and not work for somebody else. Now, obviously, when somebody wants to really go to the optimal health, feeling like you were in your 20s, if you were healthy in your 20s, because some people, obviously, even nowadays, are not healthy because they are 20, you need to also address your nutrition and your lifestyle. But also, when I look back at what my parents could do, they had, for what would have been called in those days, a very healthy nutrition and a very healthy lifestyle. But nowadays, it's not enough. I find that more and more people realize the same thing, that we need the foundation, the key foundation of the nutrition and lifestyle, but we need also more help. And for me, this technology is really my main help, because also even some supplements that I'm still taking, some supplements less than I used to. But if you don't absorb things, the supplements, they won't be absorbed and they won't really do what they're supposed to do. When you are boosting, when you are with a little patch like this one, now it's a little bit small, that gets activated by your own body heat, by your own light, and then that it gives the signal to the brain to produce various peptides, various amino acids, according to what patch you are holding or applying. It's really addressing the body's system to function optimally. And like this little patch here, that's the X39, the holy grail of the patches, as we call it. And it activates, it sends the signal to the brain to produce more of a peptide called GHKCU. And that peptide was called at some point the fountain of youth. Research for 50 years by a PhD called Dr. Lauren Picard. And activating this peptide then by a biochemical chain reaction in the body, activate your body to produce younger and healthier stem cell, as well as resetting 4,200 genes to a younger and healthier state. So that's the perfect holistic age reversal, wearable, self-powered technology.
I know we have a lot more details and stuff, but we're going to be almost out of time for today.
Yeah,
So, but when we get you on Mindful, we'll have you on Mindful Mondays, we'll be able to go into a lot greater detail. We'll be scheduling that up. So everyone watching, definitely watch out for that episode, because we will get into a whole lot more detail on what MarieHelene is talking about and what she has for you. But before we go today, what is the best way for people to contact you to find out more?
Well, to contact me, the best way is or to text me on, do you want me to give my phone number and my...
That's up to you. If you're comfortable doing that, that's fine. Whatever you give me, I will put in the comments below when we get done, so they would know how to contact you.
Sure. By texting me at 941-468-8255. 8034 or email me at wellnessmhr@gmail.com.
Awesome.
If I give you, you can go to my LifeWave website, but it's always better to have a chat with me before, instead of jumping in and wanting to order something by yourself. I like to guide people for what will serve them the best on all level.
That is awesome. Well, I want to thank you so much for being with us today. And I definitely look forward to digging into this more on Mindful Mondays with you. So everyone, for this interview or others that you've seen, if you've missed this, go to, or this or other ones you want to see, any of the other ones, go to the YouTube channel of White Sand Self-Care. You can just do @White Sand Self-Care, and you will see all of these interviews. And then don't forget Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross. We do have coming up this Monday with Tom Palladino about scalar energy and quantum healing, which is another new breaking edge. I love all this stuff. There's so much we can do with energy. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining me today. MarieHelene, thank you very much for sharing that with everybody.
Thank you so much, Laura, and thank you for the amazing work that you're doing.
Thank you. And everybody have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week.